Hello, everyone. Welcome to Taxonomy Tuesday, brought to you by the New Jersey Mycological Association. My name is Lila. I am the host for this evening, March 24th, 2026. So this is an opportunity for us to share recent finds, uh, to get help with IDs if we don't know what they are, and to talk about uh, various mushrooms. So is there anyone that would like to start by sharing from their device?
I have one to share, a throwback to last week.
Excellent. All right, go ahead, Chris.
So I think it was Hunter who was showing this what was it, branch knot or something that only grows on fruit trees,
Black knot.
black knot. And this was the other one in discussion that grows on the beech trees. It is super hard to take a picture of because there's the foreground is no good. It all gets all messed up. But the topic was like how this one is more brittle looking. And it really is. That texture that you could see around the outsides is like what the whole thing's made of. And I think it only grows on the beech trees.
Is is it super fragile to touch like the stemonitis? You mentioned stemonitis last week. Or is it brittle like you're saying now? Now you're using the word brittle, so that
Yeah, I mean but not like a stemonitis where you could just blow it away.
okay. Is it crunchy?
But yeah, like you could crunch that up in your hand pretty easy.
But it'd be like a crunch. Like
Y- Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
like hard little bits.
okay. Yeah. That's what I thought, but I wasn't sure. Neat.
And and another thing that I was wondering, since I was around the beech trees, we were out at that Smith's Woods where we have forays. And I was looking for kiwi bubble, but the only stuff I found were like little um it's like where they were. They were just little black dots. There was no kiwi slices. And I don't know like if anybody knows, is there a season for that?
It's definitely the kiwi bubbles is definitely a wintertime thing. I actually haven't been looking for any of it this past year. Um, so it might be turning into black dots. I think it's what is it? It's usually kind of green when it starts and then it turns black.
Yeah, yeah. It kind of erupts from the surface in
Mhm.
that kiwi slice, the green with the looks like it's got little black seeds in it.
Yeah.
And then after it's all done, it's just it just kind of turns to black. But these were like it's almost like in where it turns black, we're like hollowed out.
Mm.
And that's all I found, like like all over the place. I didn't find any of the little green.
Anything active, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So going back to that first observation, that's the Scorias spongiosa.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's actually feeding on the honeydew created by an aphid that is attacking the beech. You probably know that, but just saying it in case somebody else here doesn't know that.
Yeah, do you know if it's that if it's that like white woolly aphid, is it those kind?
Yeah, yeah, and there'll be a whole bunch of them, and you get near them, and then they
They're
start,
dancing.
yeah, in unison. Dorothy calls them the boogie woogie
Oh, that's perfect.
aphids. Yeah. So yeah, so their honeydew that they produce then is the substrate that the Scorias spongiosa feeds on. So it's interesting. Okay.
Yeah, thanks.
All right. Somebody else have anything to share?
Chris, I have a suggestion for Chris. Um, Photographing something like those beech nuts. The problem is there's usually too much contrast with the backdrop, and also the backdrop in your when you photograph those was kind of far away, so camera has a hard time determining depth of field. So if you don't have a camera where you can manipulate these things really well, one thing you can do is just hold up like a piece of cardboard or something right behind the the object that you're photographing and
Yeah,
cut down on the contrast.
I didn't have anything on hand.
Yeah.
I probably should have just taken off my jacket or something and used that.
Yeah, that probably would have worked.
Yeah, and it was that thing too because I was just doing it on my phone. The phones, they really like they readjust rapidly.
Uh-huh.
So that like, oh, it's in focus, click, and then by the time you clicked it, it changed focus again.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
the little cameras do that too. I sometimes I'll take if I find something that I think is really unusual and interesting, I might take 30 photos of it because it's sort of luck, getting pushing the button on the camera at just the right time.
Yeah.
All right. I think a recent, well, not super recent, but I've been having trouble with the phone and the focus on things the last several months. I think it's getting harder. Maybe it's just my reaction time getting slower, but it does not want to stay focused on objects up close anymore.
I wonder if the reduction in ambient light during the winter might have something to do with that.
Hmm.
It could just be an update in the, you know.
Oh, oh God, the updates. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
trying to make you buy a new phone. All right. So who else? Who else has something that they would like to share? Anybody from their computer, phone, iPad, desktop, whatever? No? All right. Well, let me share one and give people a chance to think about things here. I'll try sharing. I don't know what this is. Maybe because it's too young, but hopefully Dave knows. Let's see, where's the share button? Uh, share. Okay. So this was very pretty
Beautiful.
on a stick, the underside of a stick. I did manage to get this one to focus. I guess probably because there was really no background, hardly at all. And this was on oak. Anybody have any ideas?
Those folds or pores or teeth.
I know, it's weird, isn't it?
Yeah, the color, the pretty sharp colors suggest that it's not real old.
Yeah, I think it's fresh. And here's one just starting here. I don't know, is this
Uh,
Urpex
oh,
on the
Apex
bottom?
lactis? I don't know. It could be. Could be. I mean, maybe that's what it looks like when it's young. Hmm.
I like that the leading edges on it, how like fuzzy they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
That should be a helpful feature in trying to get an idea on this, but I don't know what it is.
I mean, you got a photo contest contender.
Yeah, that's really nice.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. It's a little bit lacking in color, but it was a nice surprise to turn it over and see that. So I don't know. I forget what let's see what INAT thinks it is.
How big was it?
Oh, pretty small.
Yeah.
Yeah, quite small. So Trametopsis cervina, yeah, Urpex lacteus.
Actually, what's amazing about this is he swam across Lake Erie from Canada to rescue a drowning vacationer out of Lake Erie and then was killed in War of 1812.
So,
No, you're not buying that?
that kind of looks like it on the underside, doesn't it?
And Chris, have you guessed?
A bit.
What is this thing? Is this Marulius or what's the other name?
Trametopsis cervina.
Oh, that's Trematopsis cervina. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that's I don't know if that can be I suppose it can be strictly resupinate.
And maybe because it was on the very underside of the
Uh-huh.
branch.
Yeah,
Because
that sounds like a pretty good proposal, really.
yeah, so all right, let's look at the Urpex.
How about Schizopora?
I don't know what that is. It's not one that they're recommending or suggesting. So Urpex on the side of something, then underneath it's looks a little bit like that. I didn't see any caps really forming, any reflex edges.
Yeah, I don't know if Urpex has that fuzzy margin.
Yeah.
March 24th, 1989.
All right. I think it's one of those two.
Dry reef, releasing a
Maybe
gallons of oil into a landfill.
cervina or lacteus, Urpex lacteus.
2 weeks after the accident, a Pennsylvania firm was invited to test the new
So I guess
aid in the massive. Was the company A, Westinghouse Corporation?
I was going to say Serena unicolor. I mean, maybe that could be resupinate like this. I would expect those to be bigger, though.
I need to try to clean
Hmm.
up that back. Westinghouse, Cyclops, New Pig.
That's pretty interesting.
Yeah. All right.
You should take a look at Schizopora, though, maybe.
Can you put that in the chat, Hunter?
Yeah.
All right. So what else do I have here? A lot of lichens out there, and oh, and I had a Scorias spongiosa fairly recently as well. Okay. All right. So I'm going to stop, and maybe that will encourage somebody else to bring something up that they found. In the meantime, let me go to the email. And
Or Sticharinum on that one. I don't know if you know that one. I'm gonna put it in the chat.
okay.
Dectrinum.
Yes,
Yeah, that's truly hydnoid.
Oh,
Yeah, looks like it's got pores that are just become very quickly lacerated. But you know what? I just looked up. I don't know this species, Schizopora paradoxa. But I'm going to put in the chat a photo, and it looks like a pretty good chance because it looks like it has that fuzz along the margin. So let's see. Did it? Okay, I think that's it. I just put a link in the chat. See what that looks like.
Okay, Dave.
Just click on that and see what it looks like. To me, it looked a little bit like what you have. Only probably a lot bigger.
Oh,
I'm looking at I'm getting these names from macrofungi associated with oaks. That's where I'm kind of pulling from.
Heads up. Heads up. Oh, wait a minute. I'm not gonna come to you first, I think, because Candy, have any idea? What do you have there on that? Well, I have it.
So schizopora literally means split pores, which I think is what's going on in your thing, Lila.
mm-hmm.
The walls are just splitting, becoming lacerated.
But it doesn't really even have the pores though to begin with. Just right from the start.
Well, you maybe that may have been started a couple months ago or something during a thaw or in the fall. I don't know, but it looked pretty fresh, like we both agreed.
Yeah.
How magnified was your photo?
It's pretty blown up. All right, let's go back. We'll look at it again quick here. Let's get only my mushrooms though. So like on this one, this baby here, it's it'd be hard.
He was born in 1930 in the midst of the Great Depression.
Oh, I see. Yeah, there's really, if these are pores, they're really not. They're starting out as like split apart pores. Now, some of the ones up top, if you look toward the margin between the fuzzy margin and the interior, it does look poroid. It looks like those are large pores.
Yeah.
And the ones further in the middle. I wonder. So is this schizopora paradoxa? Is that an annual or a perennial? I think that would be important to know here.
Yeah, and does that occur in the US?
Oh, yeah, that's another question. I don't know. I don't know these things very well.
It's an annual?
It's an annual. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So that eliminates the possibility that this started, like a year ago or something and only grew a little bit, but it's fairly mature even though it's small.
What about a really young Taxonomy quercenaut?
No, it's not that.
Okay.
I don't think it's that. That has really long diethyloid, thick-walled pores that don't lacerate. They're just large pores to begin with, and that's the way they stay. And that generally forms shelving through bodies.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think it's that. But brainstorming is useful. It's very light. It's probably this Trametopsis. And that makes the most sense, I think. Except for the fuzzy margins. Those are kind of unusual.
Yeah. All right, let's
Pretty interesting. You know what? Try it out, Lila. Maybe you can get it sequenced.
yeah, I should have saved it.
Ah,
Just on a casual walk. Yeah, I was not here in New Jersey. I was visiting some people. So
uh-huh.
all right. Let's just want to see that map that of that species. Oh, there's no observations of that Schizopora paradox. So it must go by something else in INET.
Yeah, it's probably got a new name. You know what? Let me look in. I'm going to look in Index Fungorum.
Yeah, I don't even see that as a genus. Xylodon. Here's something, Xylodon paradoxus. Let's see. Split pore crust. That,
Look at that. Look at that edge.
yeah, look at the edge. This kind of looks like
Oh
just
boy.
just a much bigger patch of it, maybe. That looks like it, right?
That is not terribly different.
That actually looks like it. Look at the margin. It looks kind of fuzzy
Yeah,
and not poroid, just kind of this spreading fuzzy stuff. And Index Fungorum says Schizopora paradoxa is a legitimate current name. So, I mean, maybe you've just found something that's very unusual.
How about this name, Dave? Xylodon paradoxus.
Is this Xylodon here?
Yeah.
Oh, that's Xylodon. Okay, let me look on Index Fungorum.
Is that looks like it. All right, let's see a map of this. All right, so that's found around.
So is that Xylodon paradoxa or paradoxus?
Paradoxus.
Paradoxus. Yeah, I just searched Xylodon on Index Fungorum. There's lots of Xylodon. So let me put the species name in. Paradoxus.
Interesting observation shape.
Yeah, a
Oh.
little bit in the early and then middle of the summer and then and going into the fall.
Index Fungorum says the current name for Xylodon paradoxa is Schizopora paradoxa.
Okay.
Yeah, so those are the same.
Cool.
Which that's what it looked like to me, that those were going to be the same.
All right.
I think that's a pretty good chance of that. And no observations on INET? Wow.
Well, of this one, this name, there is. There's lots of these.
INET's using that name.
Oh,
Yeah.
INET's using Xylodon?
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Okay, so okay. Are there observations in Eastern North America?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. There's look here.
Well, I would bet $5 that's what you have. That is
Yeah.
well below my limit of $20.
All right. All right, I'm gonna go change it to that. Let's change it to that. Let's go back to my observations. See if anybody. Ah,
This phrase means buyer beware, and you've now purchased a clue. So it'll cost you $1,000 if you don't know it.
all right. Oh, is it XYLODON? There it is. Split port crust. We'll try that. All right. Enough of that. All right, Igor's got another. Okay, California fungi. Okay, synonyms, Xylodon, paradoxus. Okay. Resupinate, cream-colored fruit bodies with irregular split or toothed pores. All right, I didn't do any micro work on it. Okay, may represent a complex of species and is in need of study. Okay. Thank you, Hunter, Dave, and Igor. That was great.
Beautiful photo, Lila.
Thanks. All right. Let me go back to the mail and see if anybody's emailed anything in besides Dave. Dave has some things we can look at. All right. I think Dave is the only one I got anything from.
Did Jamie come tonight?
I don't see them yet.
Okay, cause there was one, remember that white cup-like fungus under the log she showed last time? And I was thinking it could be ascocorine. It seems like it can be pale, or white, but, since they're not here, we don't have to.
Okay, maybe they'll join.
Okay.
All right, let's go to Dave's email.
Okay.
Start with this past Sunday.
Yeah, we found things on Sunday. I didn't even send all of the observations. We found a few different things. So I think the first thing is going to be a polypore, actually, which.
All right, let me share. Here's the first thing.
Yeah, so this is a shelving polypore. This is just a long shelf along probably an oak. And so that's one of the polypores harvested. So that's the upper surface. And I think there's one more photo of the upper surface coming up. Yeah, so put, with a piece of cardboard underneath it. So you see a little more detail that way. But it's really the underside that's kind of more interesting.
Oh.
Yeah, so I thought this was cervina unicolor. This hard-fleshed shelving polypore that has tubes that become lacerated and tooth-like, and it's more or less all one color, pretty much just dull brown gray. But I got spores. Spores fell out of this thing. Quite a few spores. The spores were were significantly longer than Cervina unicolor. Cervina unicolor is supposed to peak out. The spores are supposed to peak at 7 microns, and these are like 8 to 10 microns, maybe even a tiny bit over 10. And I don't even know what this is. This was so I got a little bit of a spore drop on a slide, and I mounted it in melters. Actually, I wanted to see if maybe it was amyloid spores. But if you enlarge this last photo, it's pretty strange. I mean, are these spores? I don't even know. Or is this like some insect sort of thing going on? Yeah, the last photo. Just do the thing with click the little square and then click. Yeah, you know how to do it. And I don't know. It's probably not going to enlarge all that much.
That's as much as I can
Yeah,
do.
that's sort of a shame. It won't enlarge more. So these things they look kind of like spores, but they're wider than what I believe are the spores that are in the other photo, and they have what looks like 2 little circles inside, like oil drops, kind of. Some of them you can see it.
Is this the same slide?
Yes, it is. It's the same slide, and it's just 2 different areas underneath the slip. I didn't even move the slip. It's just 2 different areas under the slip. So, I mean, one thing is there might be a fungus growing inside these pores. There might be like some asco or something growing inside the pores. And that might these particular things might be the spores from something else besides the polypore. Now the other photo, these look like sort of like polypore spores. This is what you would expect from a lot of not all, but a lot of polypores. They're going to have spores that look like this, but these are longer. These are longer than Cervina unicolor spores. So I'm stuck on this one. I don't know what it is.
Was that 2 different microscopes of yours?
No.
Hmm.
So it's the same drop on the same slide.
Yeah, I
but
don't. Oh, wait. Show the other picture. Does the other picture also have the reticle? Because only one of my microscopes has the reticle. Maybe it was. I forget now.
no.
Nope, there's the reticle. That's the same microscope, same mount in melters. So looks like the spores darkened a little bit in the melters. Also, when I put the drop of melters on the spore drop, I didn't notice any darkening, of on the slide. When I looked at them under the scope, though, they looked like these things here kind of really did darken. These little gutules or whatever they are inside these more or less ellipsoid things, they seem to have darkened. So I don't know. My guess is that these things are something to do with some insects, like some eggs or something, that some insects laid. Because I think these look more like what you would expect spores to look like. The other thing those other things can be, maybe they're spores from some other fungus growing inside the pores of this polypore. So I dried some out. I have it packaged. So that's a close-up, of course, on the lacerated tubes. So this is a polypore. It's not truly hydnoid.
Yeah, you can. This looks more like a polypore.
Oh yeah, looking toward the margin. So the lower part of the photo. If you enlarge that photo, I think it'll enlarge at least a little bit. And you can see on the bottom. See, the pores are round, and they're somewhat. The tubes are somewhat elongated, but they're not lacerated yet.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a polypore. Now another thing that I thought was Trametopsis. And I forget, why did I just miss Trametopsis? I don't think I checked spore size for Trametopsis.
What's the dimension of this thing?
That particular thing there was maybe about 3.5 by 2 inches, something like that.
It's
4 by 3, maybe the widest part might be about 3.
okay.
Not real big. But the in situ photo, you can see. I should have put a penny on the shelves and took one more photo, so you could have got a better idea here. But there's an oak leaf, though. You see the oak leaf, so that gives you at least some idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe Trametopsis, but it doesn't. These don't look like Trametopsis cervina. You know, there's something about them that maybe they're not enough color. I forget why I dismissed. I may have forgotten to check spore dimensions on Trametopsis. I'll have to recheck that.
Trematopsis cervina.
Yeah, what are the spore dimensions for that?
7 by 10.
Oh,
Or 710 by 2-3.
yeah, that's. Oh, you know what? I did check, and you know what? I think I proposed Trametopsis cervina based on spore dimensions. I remember that, right? I did do that, but then I said it doesn't really look like it to me. But the spores fit. Yeah, I did propose it. The spore dimensions fit. Yeah, thanks. And the spore dimensions do not fit Cervina unicolor, so a little bit of a conundrum here with this one. But every spring I go through this. I go out and pick some polypores and bring them home and don't figure out what they are. It seems to happen every year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well,
That's what I'm calling Lila's Trametopsis.
City within the continental U.S. It was the site of a
Yeah, it's an interesting thing to see right after looking at Lila's polypore with lacerated tube walls. So there's a similarity there. I don't think they're the same species, mine and Lila's, but
no, yeah,
there
because
is
yours
that.
are clearly getting a cap to it, a shelf or a bracket, whatever.
Yeah, well, that might happen with yours if the log was oriented a little bit differently. But
Yeah.
but I don't see any of this like fuzz near the boundary, and that these things don't look like they're really spreading. That the things you have on that stick, it looks like they're spreading, radially.
Right.
One of the largest donations ever was a
Yeah.
$1 bequest by Joe.
All right.
This organization
Interesting.
is a mission.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of interesting, and we'll see.
Yeah, that's a cool specimen.
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe somebody will say something. Now, these are a pair. These two, they're the same species at different stages. These are 2 or 3 little cluster of young ones. They looked like that from up above, just a very pale whitish mushrooms. They're maybe not as white as they looked in the first photo because of all the contrast with the surroundings. That's all of those mushrooms harvested. And the underside's pretty cool on these. Up from above, they're kind of boring looking, but there you go. There's the underside. So they got these gills with decurrent tooth, a long decurrent tooth, especially that one in the upper left. And I know what this is because I found this species before in this same spot. It might have even been the same log. This is Neolentinus adhaerens. It's cold weather species. It's a cold weather wood inhabiting agaric. And this is a nice, pretty fresh one. Look at the gill edges. The gill edges are pretty, irregular, choppy. Right? That's a Neolentinus and a lentinus feature. So these have white spores. Non-reactive in melters, I'm pretty sure. And these spores look like the spores almost the same, not quite as long though. Actually, no, pretty close. 7 to 8.5 by 2.5 to 3 I have here. And those dimensions fit very squarely into what is reported for Neolentinus adhaerens. So That's an interesting species. I don't know. I think it grows on hemlock. I think I find it on hemlock.
Mm.
So the next link is the same species, and it was found very close. It may have been the same log, because on the walk we took on the way in, I found these on top of a log, and on the way out, right, if it wasn't the same log, it was just 1 or 2 steps away. I found those other pale ones. This is the same species. Look at the way the cap changes, and look at the way actually the gills also change. It looks like they kind of lose that decurrent tooth. Actually, the one in the lower right there, that looks like it still has a little bit of that going on. These are older though; they're eroded, so they've lost some of their characters. But when you see the spores, you'll see that it's the same. It's the same species. And look at the gills. Look at the choppy gill edges, right? The
Yeah, wow.
sawtooth gill edges. Yep.
That's a good photo to see that.
Yeah, through a loop. That photo is taken through my loop, and I think we got 1 or 2 more photos, and you can kind of see where maybe it used to be attached a little bit more, the gills that is, and then that attachment kind of breaks and erodes.
Yeah.
So we don't see any decurrent tooth now, but that was probably there for a while. So who knows when these came out? These may have come out during the last thaw. And the spores are the same, as the other, the fresher, whiter ones. Same dimensions, 6.5. Well, close. I think the others I had 7 to 8.5. I got 6.5 to 8.5 for these guys. So that's hardly different at all.
Yeah, they look the same.
They're the same. It's the same species. Yep. Yeah, I have found the same species in the same area other times, late fall or very early spring or during winter thaw. Although usually I can't go to this spot during the winter because they close this trail because of the icy conditions. This was the first day that the Falls Trail was open in Ricketts Glen State Park. It was last Sunday. So I got out there as soon as I could.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool species. I dried them out. I'm drying out everything. So Mycena. Now, usually at this time of the year, I'm finding Mycena overholtzii, and I have had samples sequenced twice, and twice it came back as Mycena overholtzii, a species that was documented first from Wyoming in the Rocky Mountains, a snowmelt species. Our Mycena overholtzii looks a little different. Our Mycena overholtzii looks like these. So is this Mycena overholtzii? I thought they probably were, but the spores are too small. The spores do not go much past 5 microns long. That's really short. Oh, look at these tiny buttons.
Wow.
Isn't that cool? Yeah, look at these tiny buttons. The log was more or less covered. If you go back a couple of photos now, you'll see all these little dots all over the log. See
yeah, I was gonna.
Dots? Right, that's them. That's those tiny buttons. So that's pretty cool.
Very cool.
So I think this is Mycena semivestipes. It looks like Mycena overholtzii. It does tend to come out during chilly weather, and it's got very small spores and
So
distinctly amyloid spores.
Really well rotten log here.
Yeah, rotten wood. That's generally what I find things on this time of the year. So Myco-Quebec has, I believe they have a page for overholtzii and a page for semivestipes. But if you go to Myco-Quebec, their page for Mycena overholtzii, they use a description that is relevant to the version that they find in the Rocky Mountains. And it's actually quite different from what we find in the East in terms of morphology and how big it is and where you're going to find it and so forth. So our Mycena overholtzii looks a lot like these, and they're small, like these. They're not very big. So I think this is semivestipes. I made 4 observations of what I believe is this same species, and I kept getting small spores. Some of the other observations, the spores went up to around 5.5, and I need to clean my microscope. I'm not getting these photos are pretty foggy because I think I need to clean my lenses and so forth. But you can see there the spores are tiny.
Mm-hmm.
They're hard to make out because they're so small. But they're these thin, elongate things. You'll see them here and there. And the little round things, those are probably also spores, but it's a polar view. So you're looking like straight down at a pole. They're very small spores. Overholtzii doesn't have very big spores either, but they usually go up to around 7 microns. So that's quite a bit bigger than maxing out at between 5 and 5.5. It seems
Yeah.
like a small difference, but percentage wise, it's actually pretty significant. You know, two out of 5 is 40% increase in size. So that's what I think is the way to tell Overholtzii from semivestipes. But we'll see. We'll see. Now you get to find out a lot of times because I've preserved several samples of these from Sunday, and I am hopefully going to submit them for sequencing eventually. Eventually, we'll see. Have to wait for an opportunity.
Cool.
Cool.
I've also found Mycena robusta in chilly weather. So these look like more Mycenas. And I wondered, I thought they were at first. But then after I flipped a few of them over, I see, look at the one on the right, the little one on the right by the penny. It's got like these lavender gills. And the
Mm-hmm.
gills look different. They just look different from the Mycena gills. And when I did get a spore print from these, and I put melters onto the spore print, and it did not readily darken to black. Under the scope, the spores looked like they were amyloid, but they weren't like really strongly amyloid. So you saw, when you put a drop of melters on a Mycena spore print, usually the liquid turns black or gray, because the reaction is fast. Now, but there's some problems here with calling these Baeospora, which I think they might be. And look at how different these 2 in a row look. I got spores from one that looked like this and one that looked like this, and the spores looked the same. They were very, very small, even smaller than those Mycena semivestipes spores.
Wow.
These spores only go up to like 4. Or what do I have there? I think I got something written down there.
Not exceeding 4.5.
Not exceeding 4.5. Okay, yeah, very small. That is a Baeospora meradiophila trait, and I think Baeospora in general they'll have small spores. So that would be unusual because that's a fall species. That's an early fall through fall species, and I have found Baeospora, lavender gilled Baeospora is the common name. I have found it along this same stretch of this trail several times. But this time of the year, strange. And the way the gills look different from one mushroom to another. And the other thing is too, Baeospora myretophilia has gills that are really, really close together and very shallow and thin. These gills are actually kind of thick, and they've got a little bit of space between them. Not a lot, not a lot of space between them. But especially maybe on the close-ups of the gills that we can go through one more time. So yeah, just go one more time. There, see, these gills are not that close together, really. I mean, they're close, but they're not crowded. Baeospora meradiophila gills are crowded. So Now, I don't know. Maybe it's because of the time of the year. Um, maybe some of these things are just having a tendency to persist a little bit longer in situ, and then they change their appearance a little bit, and but that they're able to stay in situ longer because they freeze and thaw. I don't know. But I preserved some of these also.
Whoa,
Yeah.
yeah. So they all have lavender gills. What color are the spores?
White spore print,
Oh,
and it's seemingly amyloid. I mean, like I said, when I mounted spores from one with the white gills and one with the lavender gills, and in each case, um, the drop of melters didn't seem to darken, on the slide. But when I looked under my microscope, it looked like the spores had darkened a little bit. So I looked that up, and Baeospora are supposed to have amyloid spores, but they might be, like not strongly amyloid like a lot of Mycena spores. Now, these could be Mycena. I don't know, but that would be very, very small spores for Mycena.
Mhm.
And could they be semivestipes? I kind of don't think so. They don't really look like that species. The gills look wrong. Uh,
Yeah,
so
different.
um,
Looks like, do these have a little indentation here?
Yeah, a little. Yeah, the middle of the cap is a little bit sunken. Yep, and that might just be something that
With those? Yeah,
developed
these don't seem to have it over here.
tiny bit, maybe,
Maybe. Yeah.
maybe.
It's hard
Yeah,
to see. Yeah.
hard to see, but that might be something also that develops over time because of just the kind of conditions uh, that are. It's not getting up to 80 degrees now, so these things aren't drying out and rehydrating and rotting. They're kind of
Mhm.
freezing and thawing, and that might keep them intact
Yeah.
for a little longer. I don't know.
Mm. Okay.
Yeah, it was interesting. Whatever they were interesting to find. Is Brandon here?
No, I haven't
Nah,
seen
we'll,
him.
we'll save the other thing for next week when Brandon's here because it impacts something that he has found a couple of times.
Okay.
I should have put a penny into this photo. These things are really small. They are well under a centimeter in length. Maybe 6 millimeters, seven, maybe. They are really, really small. I didn't take any home and do any microscopy or anything. I actually made a collection of these last year that I preserved, and so I've got a little plastic bag here around here someplace that when you look at it, except for a piece of paper with the Multiclavula mucida written down, you can hardly see anything in it because they're so small.
Yeah,
Looks like
once they
an empty.
dry up, they're probably like a
Oh,
hair.
they're like a hair. Yeah.
Yeah.
So pretty cool. Pretty cool thing to find.
Yeah. Yeah, there's really nothing else like this. If you find that green algae and these little
Yep.
white things, it's going to be this.
Yeah, on well rotted wood.
Yeah.
No bark.
So that's
So
algae, not some sort of lichen or whatever.
it's algae.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Multiclavula mucida.
Yeah.
Is that thing kind of like flat on the end, a little like
A little
spatulate
bit.
or
Yeah,
whatever?
it looks like it flattens out on the end a little bit. Yeah. Some do and some don't. Some are pointed on the end.
Yeah.
I think these were out for a little while too. I think that's why the
Turning
tips
brown.
turn brown.
Nice. I don't think I saw any of these last year or the last couple of years because it's been so dang dry. But
Yeah,
that's,
damp
oh,
conditions.
wow. I
Mm.
love it. Oh,
cool. All right. So you said this one you want to wait.
Yeah, we can
uh,
save that for when Brandon's here because It's relevant to a species of Inocebi that he's found once or twice.
Okay.
And it's not I didn't find it last week. I just got a sequence back on it from Steve Russell. So I know what it is now. But we'll save that.
Okay. All right. Who else has something to share? Anybody?
Hopefully next week I'll get my season started.
Okay. Locally, or are you going someplace?
I'm gonna go to Southern Illinois. So hopefully,
No, Morels.
Yeah.
They can start next weekend.
yeah, they've been finding like tiny morels. It's been hard to tell if they're really even like yellows or if they're they're that tiny. I mean, that you can't even really tell if it could even be like a verpa or but I think it'll be getting started by next weekend.
Okay. Well, good
Yeah.
luck. Good luck on that. I think we're
And
we're a ways off here.
there's a lot of I've seen a lot of posts of neogyrometras, and so at least there'll be those to see, and I think there'll be good stuff. Hopefully.
Okay. Good.
Yeah. What so no snow on the ground there, right?
Only snow left is any place that had a really big snow pile where it was, packed up.
Okay.
But
Yeah,
yeah.
I think most of our snow is gone here in Northeast PA. I mean, maybe in some really shady spots where there's like a rock overhang or something, might still be a little, but I
Yeah.
didn't see any snow on Sunday at Ricketts
Yeah.
Glen.
Yeah. So hopefully we don't get any more snow now.
Yeah, you guys got your share at the end there, didn't you?
Yeah, fair bit. So
Yeah, that's good.
all right. Well, just checking the chat here. Okay, Igor's got a Trametopsis cervina. Let's see what that is. Okay. All right, the Michael Quo page. Igor, you want to say something about this? Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. Not really. I mean, this was related to one of the mushrooms that was featured maybe half an hour ago. So we kind of
Yeah,
moved on.
that thing that we found at Ricketts, it could be this. These just seem to have more color though, and I think I found this species in the past. They tend to be pretty thick, like these. But that thing that I found, that gray thing that was like a row of shelves, it could be this. That's why I proposed it. It just looked a
Right.
fair amount different though. But the spore size fits.
Oh,
Mhm.
It's a nice photo there.
It is a nice one.
Yeah, I think this was highlighted by a flash. So there's some contrast.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, shadows and a little bit of reflection, but not too much. I mean, it's pretty.
No, there was a good amount of flash, but not like blinding flash that completely
Yeah,
washes out everything.
right.
But the colors here are warmer, I think, than they should be because of
Oh,
that.
aha. That's a good point.
Still, it's a very nice photo because it's very sharp and very photogenic. Shows these long tubes.
Yeah, and they seem to stay relatively intact. Here they're kind of breaking apart, but I think that's because of the shape of the log, maybe. But
That's the way it grew. Doesn't
yeah,
have a cap, so just the tubular.
yeah,
And it kind of tucked behind the upper shelves, so
yeah,
maybe that's how they developed, kind of malformed.
yeah. But yeah, these are all just nice looking pores.
Yeah, yeah. This species, the pores get the tubes get really lacerated and irregular looking. And these are kind
By
of neat looking here.
by lacerated, you mean they're kind of broken off at their ends?
Split apart and
Yeah,
long and pointed.
right.
Yeah, like that photo there. There you go. See, now that looks a little bit like what I had when I
Mm-hmm.
showed.
Mm-hmm.
So that might be what it is. But I know in the past when I found what I thought was Trametopsis cervina, I thought the flesh wasn't quite so dense and woody as that other thing. But I don't know. I'm not really that good at polypores. Um, so that this my thing could have been this. The spores are maybe this picture of spores here, maybe they're a little bit more curved than the ones I came out of my mushroom. I don't know how significant that would be.
Hmm. Okay. That was a nice photo as well. Yeah.
I think that's probably that same fruiting, just a more of an angle to see more of the fruit bodies.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that one.
I don't see the stretched out spot though on this one.
That's
Oh, okay.
that's what I was just thinking. It's got like none of that.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah, so it's probably not the same ones.
yeah, yeah, a little different.
Okay, yeah, those are different.
Is it me or do these seem to have a purple cast? They almost look a little bit lavender to me. Those pores.
Very slightly, maybe. I'm not really
Yeah.
getting that on my, but our
Okay.
different monitors
Yeah.
might be showing color just a little bit differently.
Mhm. Okay. All right. Well, I think I'm going to stop the recording unless somebody else has something they want to share. I'll call out one more time to Carlos and Kenneth. You're welcome to chime in or show something. Okay, Kenneth says thank you now. All right. And Carlos also. All right.
If you want, I can send a few more observations over from Sunday.
I'm game.
All right, let me just go back to my mushroom observer stuff. I'll send a few more over. I'll just put them in the chat.
That
Right, then
works.
you can just click on them. Okay.
I've been working in the garden and I'm staring at every wood chip. Like, where's my pizazas?
Can I ask
Yeah,
a question
a couple weeks
as
away
a
probably.
as a new member? what is the preferred way for sharing? Do you prefer that you go through that website, or can you just simply have pictures on your phone or on your computer?
You can have them on your phone or computer. We do strongly encourage you to get an iNaturalist account or a Mushroom Observer account and to post them there, but it's not absolutely required. It's just easier. But if you have them on your phone or your laptop or whatever, we recommend that you have them open, and then when you start sharing, you can walk through them.
All right. Thank you for the advice. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. And another option, also not preferred, but it's doable. You can email the photos or the links, just like Dave did. He had links to his observations. So you can email those to taxonomy2sday@njmyco.com. So, and you can just plunk the photos in. D don't compress them or reduce them down, right? We want high resolution photos. So email 3 or 4.
All
That's
right.
fine. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, so let's look at this first one, 2077 from Dave. Hey, okay, Auricularia.
Yep, tree ears, wood ears, cloud ears. Although I think cloud ear might refer to a specific species of Auricularia. So I think these are probably Auricularia angiospermarum. It's our native northeastern North American species that grows on hardwood. A very similar species that grows on conifer, usually pine, is Auricularia americana, or it might be americanum. I think it's americana. So these are tree ears, and there's another thing that I just put in the chat also that's coming up in a few when we advance through a few that looks like these, but it's a completely different species and not even not not the same genus. So these small dark ones are young. So those probably just came out, last weekend. And the other ones looked a little more mature. I think they're pretty good edible. I like to dry them out and then you rehydrate them. And I put them in soup. I like them in miso soup.
These are very full. Usually when I find them, they're a bit on the drier side with a fuzzy look to them.
Oh yeah. The underside, the mate surface, the convex surface usually looks grainier, more mate, and these are really not much. Didn't look very grainy, really. Maybe because you know what? These were on the underside of a log. We were turning over logs to see these. They were very close to the ground. They probably were constantly, being moistened. So, one of our members is a Chinese woman, and I think she's Chinese. She's a new member. She just joined a few months ago, but she took home a basket full of those. There were a lot of them, so she was very happy. Those are the spores. Allantoid spores, like little sausages.
And when Dave says a new club member, you're talking about your Wyoming Valley.
Oh, Wyoming Valley Mushroom Club in Northeast PA, right? Yeah.
Okay. All right. Those are nice. All right, let's see what else you got here in the chat.
All of these were found on Sunday. All of these observations were made on Sunday. And it's pretty cold here. This is a cold area. So Trichaptum is sometimes called the purple tooth polypore. It's one of these polypores that has pores with walls that lacerate and elongate, like we've been talking about. So there's two species that are pretty common Biforme, Biforme, that grows on hardwood. Now we also found that one, and I'm pretty sure this is abietinum because we're pretty sure that the wood was hemlock. There was a little bit of bark left on the wood, and it looked like hemlock bark. And there were a lot of hemlocks right nearby where we were. So from the top, these look like lots of different polypores. They look almost like turkey tails. But underneath, you'll see where there's a close up, there'll be a close up coming up of this pore surface. It's coming. Okay, maybe one more.
Mm.
Oh, there we go. There's the pore surface. So those are actually walls of pores. They're tubes that are becoming lacerated, and they haven't really elongated yet, so they don't have that spiky look yet. But you can see how they're pulling apart and lacerating, becoming split apart. Those are actually tubes that were all connected together, and the connections, the walls are splitting apart. And that's what they look like when that happens. And I think I got some spores out of these. The spores are not terribly exciting. They're just really small sausages. Yeah, there we go. Really, really small sausages. So that's usually I don't find abietinum. I find the other one. The other one seems to be more common than Biforme. So, and these things probably overwinter and revive, when the weather is cooperative.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, it's good to look at these things periodically.
Yeah, well, especially we have some new members here too, so
Yeah.
they'll get to see some things that they might run into in the woods and have a little bit of an idea.
And you think these things will revive, like they'll get the nice purple hue back and the whole thing?
Uh, I don't think they're going to get the purple hue back, but they just kind of dry out in situ, and then when they moisten, spores fell out of these. And I don't think these probably fruited last year, is my guess, but they revive in the damp weather, and then the spores actually start falling out again. Now, I don't know if those spores have been on Basidia for months. Maybe they have. Or is this thing are these fruit bodies actually active ingredients of this organism, and actively still growing and producing new spores? I don't know.
Yeah, I think, a lot of times when you see this kind of banding action, that is indicative of growth stages.
Yes, you're right. Yep, I agree.
So
Yeah,
a
these
lot
are
of
probably still growing.
little different growth spurts.
Yeah.
They might, which is incredible given we had sub-zero weather that they
We had at our house, we had I think there were 6 mornings below zero.
yeah.
One morning was 10 below
Yeah.
in January. And this area here, Ricketts Glen State Park, it's cold there. Even though it's now at once all the ice is gone, the stream, which is a decent sized stream and it flows pretty fast and there's a lot of waterfalls, that actually moderates the air now in the gorge. The
Mm.
falls trail goes through this gorge. So that's one reason why late winter, early spring mushrooms grow in this place, because it's like a microclimate that's kind of conducive to mushrooms.
Cool. All right, was that it, or did you? Oh, you sent a
I
third
think
one.
I put a few more in.
Yeah, here's one more.
So another polypore. These things are hard as a rock. So an old name that I believe is still in use in North America, but it's more or less a European name, is Fomes fomentarius. And I think Fomes fomentarius was what they found on Ötzi's back knapsack. I'm sure that's the one they found.
Yes.
These are sometimes called tinder polypore. I think what they used to do with these really is hollow them out and put coals in them and carry them, the coals, like to the next place where a camp would be set up. I think that's probably what these were used for, as well as just shaving off parts of them to use as fire starter. But the name that we've been using in North America now, along with fomentarius, some mycologists will tell you that we still have Fomes fomentarius here, even though it's primarily European. But we've been using this name Fomes excavatus. So you might wonder, where the heck does that name come from? Well, look at the overhanging margin. So it creates the impression when you look at the entire fruit body, like here, that it's been dug out. That like that whole where the pore surface here is has been excavated out of this polypore. So that's where that name comes from.
Neat.
Yeah, I didn't get any spores from this. I didn't try. I just put it back on a log. So actually, these perennial polypores, I'd rather not pick that many of them because they're still you know actively doing what they want to do. But at least I just put this one on a log so it can drop spores.
Mhm.
And the other one here stayed on the log.
This one, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Always wanted to try that. Put like a little coal in it and see how long it
Yeah.
lasts.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? Yeah, I should try that out.
I've never done it.
This, I mean, this species at Ricketts Glen, which Ricketts Glen is like a under 15-minute drive for me. I go there a lot. Um, I could easily bring home a couple of these and play around with them. I should.
Yeah, I want to do that experiment with it as well. I've got a couple old ones dried out. I,
Okay, so if you heard me say about Ötzi, you might want to know who Ötzi is. Ötzi is the human being who was killed is somewhere maybe in the Alps or some mountain range in
yeah,
Europe or Asia, and that was like thousands of years ago. He was preserved in permafrost or whatever, in a glacier, yeah, preserved in a glacier, and finally, I guess the glacier melted enough that they found this human being, right? And like he was pretty much intact, and his knapsack's ingredients were intact. So they actually learned a lot, from finding this ancient human. So he had one of these mushrooms in his pack.
Mhm.
One of,
He had another one, the birch polypore.
yeah, that one they think that they used as like a band-aid, like a
Hmm.
compress on a wound. That one's softer. These things are hard as a rock. The birch polypore, which is that now in Fomes or Fometopsis? I think it's in Fomes.
Fometopsis betulina, maybe?
Fometopsis betulina. Okay. Yeah, that one is soft. You can pass a knife through it with a little bit of effort. This thing, forget about passing a knife through it. You'll break your knife.
Just like a rock.
Yeah.
That
Oh,
one they also like they call it like hoof or something.
Hoof fungus. Yes.
Mm.
Hmm. Shaped like a hoof.
All right. Thank you, Dave.
You're welcome. There might be one more, even
There's
two
one more?
more.
Let's see. Okay. I just see 3. 77,
Okay, so I guess there's just
94,
one more.
98. Yeah.
Okay. I thought oh, is that all? I thought I put another one in.
Yeah, I just see the 3.
Maybe I did. Maybe I didn't push enter.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to stop the
Okay.
share. Thank you, everybody, for joining this week. Next week, we're going to have a little presentation by one of our members talking about the chestnut blight. And then we'll go into looking at member finds. See you then.
Nice. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thanks, Lila.
Thank
All
you.
right. Thanks for joining, everybody.
Good night.
Have a good one.
Good night.
Good night.